told Gabe, if I could do it myself, I don't want it. It's got to be something that I couldn't possibly do, that it really required someone with the skill and expertise of effects makeup.
Gabe actually came up with the idea of having half of the mask attached and half Matthew, which was so relevant to what we were doing in the book.
I've got to say that it looked exactly the way I wanted it to look. Really one of the high points of that production for me is seeing that moment.
My name is Frank Henenlotter, and I have shot 5 movies with Gabe. And obviously, if you're going to do 5 movies with a guy, it's because you like what he's done, and you like the results, and you like working with him. And one of the reasons is because Gabe thinks like a filmmaker, so we can break down the effects into shots. First film we did together was Brain Damage.
Wait, I don't know. Trust me, Brian.
Then we did Frankenhooker.
Want a date? Going out?
And Best Case 2, we had a whole community of freaks, and that was a great challenge because we had, we had something like maybe a dozen monsters in every scene. But what I loved about the creatures in that film is that they were just so surreal and beautiful and just strange and lovely, and you didn't know what the hell you were looking at. I just loved them.
I'm Gabe Bartalos, and we're here at Atlantic West Effects, taking a look at my world of special makeup effects and monsters.
Okay, how do you achieve a single deep cut, and how do you achieve it on one of the principal actors? And Gabe's idea was to use different ways of protecting the skin of the actors, chainmail, almost like using the technology that's used by butchers and people who handle knives in the food processing business. And some of those materials were then incorporated into these prosthetics.
In my stairwell was a photograph of Johnny Knoxville where we referenced the Fakir body modification.
Mark invited me to come help with the prosthetic devices for Knoxville. I sculpted flesh as if it was under tension because we knew we were going to dress it with hooks, and then Mark digitally removed the rig, and voila, you have Johnny Knoxville hanging by stretched skin. That was cool.
The work that Gabe did in order to create this prosthetic that looked like it was skin stretching was so believable.
My name is Kevin Tenney. I'm a writer, producer, director of independent horror films. Gabe Bartalos and his crew did all the work for my latest film, Brain Dead. The zombie to grab the guy, hold his head, shove his thumbs through his eyes, and then using those as a grip, split the guy's head open like you do in Orange, and the brain falls out. And Gabe said, yeah, I don't think I've seen that either. And I said, then that's how we're going to open our film. The best one, I think, is the deputy in the back of the van, which, because I do know a little bit about effects, I knew how I wanted to shoot it. So when Gabe and I discussed it, I said, what I want to do is have the actor lay in the back of the van.
When I took a mold of the actor, I already had the actor lay in a dynamic position with his skin to the side so that gravity did its thing, and that transferred to the cast. That I think is one of those little details that helps sell a reality of something. So I took the fiberglass core, which is the understructure, and I put hinges on it and opened it up so I was able to pre-dress the gore that was seen. Then I mounted in the teeth, closed it up, I put the silicone skin on it that I painted, I added all the hair work, and we put it in place.
Gabe knew to lay him on his back the way he would be in the van, his cheek laid back the way it would, his hair was hanging the right way, so that when we do it, it's a perfect cut. It all appears to be completely seamless.
Sculpting is one of my favorite parts of the entire makeup effects process because it kind of boils down to just you, your imagination, and the clay in front of you. Once the general shape is roughed out, it's really fun then to see what's in front of you and then to go in with the meticulous detail that's often involved. The entire process is really fun for me, and it's a very important process because this really dictates the look of the artwork that will be seen on the screen.
By the time we got to Cremaster 3, there were so many ideas packed into that film. It's a little bit overwhelming, just the number of prosthetic characters alone. There's some effects in that film that I think we're all very proud of. Personally feel like the zombie racehorses were a tour de force.
The zombie horses for Cremaster 3 has to be one of the most exciting job opportunities that ever came through the studio. When Matthew called and said he wanted a bunch of zombie horses, I went, wow, I was so excited. I did a painting of what I thought a zombie horse would look like and then a maquette, and I sent it to him to make sure we were on the right path, and he got equally excited. And what I did is I didn't want to mass produce an error since we needed to make 10 of them. So we found a fiberglass horse shape from on top of a feed store that was all busted up, and they let us have it. And we made molds off of that. So through creating a new positive in front of me, I had the side of the horse. I sculpted exposed ribs and ripped skin. We made a mold, ran the foam, and the idea was we couldn't attach it to a horse. We could attach it to spandex. And that allowed us to basically make a covering, a suit that was zipped on and snapped on the horse that held the cosmetics. This proved to be fantastic because through layers of first bone, then ripped muscle, and then shredded skin, we actually had a layer effect going on. And once attached to the spandex, the horse could move with it, and it had the flexibility to sell that it was real and organic.
Gabe and I have had many exercises of really testing the ability of what our subjects will allow us to do to them, and how far we can take it. And in the world of celebrity, there tends to be a real kind of hesitation necessarily to go down that road. But one of the reasons why I love working with Gabe is that he has the ability to connect with a subject and to not only make them feel at ease with the process of whether it's changing, modifying, or creating a world for them. He does it in a way to where it's this painless process that everybody loves.
When we have an effect, when we have a scene, we map it out. Where's the camera? And what is the effect going to do per shot? He understands that because he's a filmmaker.
directing a film, you now understand what a director goes through. You've brought such a different, better game to the film as an effects artist, and I take that to heart, and I'm really glad for that growth.
The charm of a good monster is that it's supposed to be both repulsive and likable at the same time.
I continue to marvel at our own cycle of life and what is all around us. And I try and hang on to that in spirit and psychology, and then channel that back into the artwork I make. And when that's successful, I think you know it because there's a unifying appreciation for a character or a film. And I think that comes with paying attention to what's around us, nature.
Also, I love monsters and gore.
Remember your baby boy?
This one's nice.
Oh, yeah. That's one of my favorite ones. I personally sharpened that one.